Hi, welcome to this third and still speculative look at the Christmas 2025 weather prospects. The reason why it's still speculative, there are 25 sleeps to go until the big day itself, which in terms of the UK's weather is an awfully long time. But if you want to stay up to date with day-to-day developments, then check out the weatheroutlook.com website. And this is the URL for the dedicated Christmas weather forecast page. Now, those of you who've seen these videos before will know that I just like to emphasise what exactly is considered a white Christmas. Here's the official definition from the UK Met Office. It is that a flake of snow must be observed falling within the 24 hours of the 25th of December at the given location. Therefore, this may not qualify. There's tons of snow on the ground. It looks fabulous, but the skies are blue and the snow arrived before Christmas. Conversely, this may do the trick because it's lashing down, but there are a few flakes of snow mixed into the rain. Now, the reason why my schedule has changed a little bit this week is because I've just returned from Cologne, where I was visiting the Christmas markets. They're absolutely fabulous, well worth seeing, great fun, very, very busy indeed. There's loads of fantastic gifts there and lots of marvellous bakes and great food which you can happily chomp all day. But was there any snow there? No, unfortunately there wasn't. It was just like in the UK, it was raining. So on with the forecast itself, and I'm going to continue using the analogues. It's still far enough ahead for them to be valuable. The analogues are generated by comparing the weather patterns across the Northern Hemisphere in the last 30 days with the same 30 days going back every year to 1948. And what we're going to do here is run through the best 5 matches as they stand. So in position number 5, we're going all the way back to 1965. That brought some notably cold winters. With that said, 1965-66 was not one of them, although on Christmas Day some distinctly cold air fed down from the north as that area of low pressure pulled away eastwards. So I would expect that a number of places recorded a technical white Christmas, so quite promising. On to number 4, and it's one of my favourites, one of the greatest of all time for the novelty value perhaps. 1999, a brisk, vigorous Atlantic flow pushing across the UK. A cold pool of air aloft moved in from the west because it didn't have as much time as it usually would to warm up with this very vigorous westerly flow, and it led to showers, and there were a few flakes of snow mixed into those in the London area. So London officially recorded a white Christmas, even though, as I say, most people probably weren't aware of it until reading about it days after the event had actually taken place. There's a famous quote there from the William Hill spokesman. Onwards, and in number 3 position this week, it is 1984. This has been appearing in recent updates quite a lot in the analogue refreshes. Winter 1984-85 was distinctly cold, but the cold weather didn't really arrive until early January. Christmas Day itself, fairly nondescript. There is some colder air pushing in from the west there, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if a few locations recorded a technical white Christmas, but all in all, quite a mixed day. So, on to number 2. It's another year from the 1980s, 1983. Low pressure tracking eastwards across northern Scotland. Quite a mild picture all in all. Probably some rain or showers around, fairly strong winds, but nothing notable. One thing of interest, though, is there's some very, very mild air there across continental Europe. And winter 1983-84 was nothing special. It's the 222nd coldest in the Central England temperature series, which goes back to 1659. So although the 80s brought a number of cold winters, this wasn't really one of them. Okay, so what is leading the pack this week? Here we go. It's another year from the 1980s, or rather it's at the very start of the 1980s. It is 1980 itself, and this was also a fairly average winter all in all. But on Christmas Day, there is some significantly colder air moving down from the northwest. So once more, I think quite a few locations could have recorded a technical white Christmas. You would think western and northern areas would be a best place to catch a few wintry showers. So the analogue's quite mixed, some interest there if it is a technical white Christmas, which you are hoping for. On to the computer model data, and I'm going to start with the GEFS 35-day ensemble. Here we are. This is showing the 850 HPA temperature anomalies for the Christmas week as a whole. Basically, red is bad, blue is good if you're hoping for cold weather. So we've got quite a lot of blue actually just to the south of the UK, over continental Europe, over France, parts of Spain into Germany, and warmer air relative to the averages, of course, to the north. And that could indicate that we've got areas of high pressure somewhere to the north. And that is to an extent supported by this chart. It's showing pressure anomalies through the same period, so through the Christmas week. Higher than average pressure to the north and the east of the UK, and lower to the south. So I think that's actually quite a promising pattern taken literally, because in many recent winters in the last couple of decades or so, higher than average pressure over continental Europe really has put the kibosh on the prospects of cold weather in the UK and in much of Western Europe through large periods of the winters. So the GEFS is not without interest. What about the ECMWF subseasonal ensemble? So this is another model, but covering a similar range and using quite a lot of the same approaches. So here are the 2 meter temperature anomalies for the week beginning the 22nd of December. So going through to the 29th. Pink is bad if you're hoping for cold weather, blue is good. And whereas the GEFS temperature anomalies were for values at about 1500 meters above sea level, these are the ones down at the surface, so the actual ones which we experience. And the UK is basically under pink shade, and it's light pink, and there's some white over parts of Ireland and northern Wales there, I think. All in all, though, it's favouring temperatures to be slightly above the average when taken across the week as a whole. So that's not necessarily a write-off, because day to day the temperatures will be fluctuating, so it doesn't rule out the possibility of some cold days. But when averaged across the entire week, the signal is for it to be a little bit on the mild side. But the pressure anomalies from the ECM ensemble are also fairly similar in some ways to the GEFS ones were. Higher than average pressure to the north and northeast of the UK, lower than average to the west to the southwest. So once more, you could tentatively think that this could be pointing towards high pressure over Scandinavia and areas of low pressure tracking further south across the Atlantic. At least that's what you could think if you're hoping for cold weather. So to try and summarise, it remains far too early to make a forecast, but speculatively the analogues are mixed, not without interest, and the same can be said about the ECMWF and GEFS charts. So in actual fact, if anything, the GEFS charts are a little bit more hopeful than they were on my previous update. What does all that mean in terms of the white Christmas score, which I'm going to award this week? Remember, it's out of 5. 5 is the best if it's snow and cold that you're hoping for. 1 is the worst. Here goes. 3 out of 5. Therefore, I've not changed the score from the last update. I think on balance, things could be significantly worse. The computer model data holds some interest, as do the analogues. So we'll just have to see how things develop in the coming days and weeks. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, please consider hitting the like button below and subscribing to the channel if you've not done so already. In that way, you'll not miss out on seeing any of my Christmas jumpers. Also, I'll shortly be digging out, hopefully, my lucky Christmas hat. Thanks very much now. Bye.